heard before that you have to match the frequency of that which you desire. You have to become an energetic match to your desire in order for it to be called into your life, because energy attracts like energy. If you've been in this space for a while, this is probably something you've heard of, but you might not understand what even that means. What is a frequency? And really the key part that took me a long time to figure out, and a part that I think is missed in all of the content, all of the books, everything, the point that nobody seems to get to, is how to actually get to that frequency, how to actually change your frequency. What happens when you go about trying to change your frequency? Because it's not as easy as saying, I have the frequency of a millionaire, and waking up in the morning and just affirming to yourself, I'm a millionaire, and then you become a millionaire. If you've tried to change your life or anything in your life in a dramatic way, if you've tried to change yourself, your reality, your business, whatever it is, you will realize as you go down this path that it's not easy. And we're going to break down today the actual ins and outs, the mechanisms of what's happening and how you can stay on the path, the things that you need to be aware of when you're going down this path, and the things that you need to do so you can shift quickly to the frequency of that which you desire. First of all, everything in the universe is just energy. You may have heard that before, but literally everything is energy. Every atom of every physical thing vibrates, okay? And each vibration is at a different level. That's called the frequency. So all a frequency is a level of vibration. If it's a high frequency, it's vibrating fast. If it's a low frequency, it's vibrating slow. Okay, that's the easiest way to put that. So these lines are different levels of vibration or different frequencies. And everything that exists in the universe has a frequency that it vibrates at. You have a frequency, I have a frequency. The planet has a frequency. The door handle has a frequency. A rock has a frequency. And the frequency of the thing is what determines how it exists in the world. Frequency, vibration, and energy is the fabric of our reality. It supersedes time. It supersedes everything. Energy, frequency, and vibration are the building blocks of everything in reality and everything beyond what we can actually even begin to perceive. So, we know this. The level that you're at currently in reality. So you can think of, we're going to just narrow it down to human experiences. And you can think of all of these different experiences throughout the human collective are all on different frequencies, right? So you can have someone here down here who is homeless, in despair, lots of shame, very low frequency existence, low frequency emotions. So homeless, low. And then you can have up here enlightened, wealthy, extremely abundant. This person is operating at a really, really high level in their human experience. But everything of every kind exists. Everything already exists is what I'm trying to get at. You don't have to create anything. It's already in reality. All you have to do is tune to that frequency. Like a radio, like you're tuning a radio, you tune to the right frequency, and all of a sudden, it's like you put the glasses on to see that version of reality. You can see it now. This is why sometimes in life, certain things seem insurmountable to you, okay? So let's say you've had a really long day, something comes up and all you can see is the problems, all you can see is the stress, you think about it, you just get more stressed, you're in despair, and you cannot find a solution. But you go to sleep, you get some good news in the morning, your frequency changes. So you go from despair, which is down here, I'm going to pop the frequency thing up on the screen. You go from despair, which is down here, and now when you woke up in the morning and you got that good news, your frequency has shifted to acceptance, to maybe courage, whatever. Now you can see solutions that were not visible to you when you were in a lower frequency. When your frequency raises, your perception expands. You can see higher frequency. You can perceive and experience higher frequency peoples. You can see and experience higher frequency people, places, events, solutions, everything, opportunities, when your frequency is higher. So Everything starts with you. It's your frequency that matters overall. You can detach from your job, you can detach from the people around you, you can detach from everything you think is the problem, because your frequency is actually what has created everything in your life. So if you get the frequency right, your reality will follow. That's just the law of the universe. That's how it works. So the level that you're at in reality, let's say you're here, okay? Your level, which is your frequency, where you're at, so you can just think of reality like a big map, and the place that you've landed, the experiences you're having, the feelings you're feeling, the opportunities coming to you, the income that you're making. You've landed there because of your frequency, and your frequency is created by your paradigm. Your paradigm is what's in your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is what kind of streams your conscious thoughts to you all the time. So if you're wondering why some people, and this is the big thing that caught me for a long time, if you're wondering why some people can just decide to change their life, they can just say a few affirmations and they find it quite easy. They can make a vision board and it kind of just happens for them. It's not as difficult. It's because they don't have a strong paradigm ruling them that goes against what they want. Okay, so you can have a strong paradigm, but if that's fine if that paradigm is in line with what you're trying to bring into your reality. Let's say, for example, you have two people. This is actually an example that I've experienced. So my mindset around money, income and finances has been something that I've always had to work on quite a bit. And I've met people who they can kind of it just works out for them. They just can manifest a change in their income, they can manifest more money, they can manifest more opportunities. I feel like I've always had to work really hard at that, and I was beating myself up thinking, why? Well, it's because I grew up with a parent who had a very, very negative paradigm about money. It was incessant. I was always told what the worries were. I was always told there wasn't enough. I was always told money doesn't grow on trees. I was always told all these things that were so disempowering, and it was repetitive, it was constant, and I got those into my subconscious mind, as you do as a child, because your brain is like a sponge. You don't have rational reasoning at that point to be able to be like, no, I don't accept this. You just accept it because that's what you do, you're a child. This is the other thing. The subconscious mind is just a sponge. So especially when we're younger, we don't have the conscious mind to kind of guard the subconscious mind, okay? So we take everything in when we're young. And we never go through a bit of a sorting process and say, well, I want this, I don't want this, I'll take that, because we don't really consciously hear what's in there, but we see it in our behavior and we see it in what's in front of us in reality. And so everything in your reality, as hard as this is to believe, it's a byproduct of what's in your subconscious paradigm. I know, and it's a pain in the ass to hear that, because you're like, well, I don't know what's in there. You do. If you look at your life, you can see it. So if you're just like, I keep attracting toxic partners, this is a problem that I had for a long time. I was attracting narcissistic partners, right? And I kept being like, oh, men are this, men are that, woe is me. And in my last relationship that was like this, I had to stop and say, this is me. This is coming from me. I'm making these choices and it's coming from something in my brain, something in my subconscious paradigm that I learned when I was young, and that it's my responsibility to unlearn. Okay? So we won't get into that today, but you get where I'm going with this. Your paradigm dictates your thoughts, your behaviors, and your emotions, okay? And that's what creates your vibration. That's what creates your frequency. And you attract the same frequency to that which you are. In your reality, events, people, circumstances, things, places, opportunities, you attract that which resonates with that which you are. And so, the paradigm is the key. You can think of it like you're running a program in your mind, in the background, that you're not thinking about ever consciously. You're running a program that's been built into you for a really, really long time. And if you want to change your frequency, you have to reprogram that system that's running behind the scenes. That's how you change your frequency. And how you start to reprogram that, that's the trick, okay? This is the part that people struggle with. You're currently operating at a certain level of consciousness from your paradigm. And people try to act outside that level of consciousness, but they're limited by their paradigm. So this is why you can logically know what you have to do. You can know the things that you need to do to be successful. You can know the traits that you need to have to be successful, but your paradigm stops you. Your level of consciousness is capped at a certain point, so you cannot operate outside that level of consciousness. You have to raise your level of consciousness first, and the action will follow. So how you do that? Okay, so you're currently here. This is your current level of consciousness. This is your desired level of consciousness. And the only way, in my experience, to shift, you need something that unfortunately is in short supply these days in this modern world. You need your attention. You need your attention span back. You need to focus. You need to become very aware of your attention, your energy, and your emotions. That's it. That's how you start to shift this. And the reason it's been so difficult for so many people to get their head around this is because the most painful thing for us to do in this modern world is to pay attention to something for a long time. We have no attention span anymore. We're scrolling and we have dopamine fixes all day long. So you hear the advice, you hear you need to visualize, right? And you should visualize, you should use your imagination, you should be tuning into the frequency of that which you desire as much as you can. But you cannot, it's actually really hard when you sit down and you try to visualize. You'll see how difficult it is. You might be in it for a minute, but, no, right. You might be in it for a minute or so, but you start to kind of think, okay, well, what am I going to have for dinner? Was somebody knocking at the door earlier? I need to make that phone call. Like, your brain constantly is jumping from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And so you're not going to like what I have to tell you, but if you really want to shift your frequency to your new frequency, to the frequency of your desire, you have to train your mind to focus on that frequency and only that frequency. So you have to become completely detached from this, what's currently going on in your life right now, and focused solely on this that doesn't exist physically for you yet. And that is hard to do because we're trained to place excess importance on the physical plane. That's how we're brought up in the world. That's how society teaches us. We put all our importance on everything around us, not realizing that it's the internal world that has to shift. You need to make time to call your energy and your attention back from all these cheap dopamine fixes, everything that's zapping your energy outside you, because you're feeding the machine of this current reality with your attention and your energy, okay? So I want you to remember this. You pay your way into a certain reality, okay? A certain version of events. You pay into that with your emotions, with your attention. That's how you're paying in. You're taking your energy out in the form of your emotions, in the form of your attention. You're taking it out and you're paying in to stay in this reality the more and more you give that currency of yours in the forms of emotions and attention. And so if you want to move to a new reality, one that's different, you need to change where you're putting your emotions and your attention. Those are how you access. That's how you pay to get access to a new reality, with your energy, through your emotions and your attention. I don't think you realize how much actual life force, creative energy is in us. We are creative beings. We are God energy in a body. We can create whatever we desire. Unfortunately, the way society has set things up, we have really zapped those resources because we're watching, binge watching TV, or we're scrolling for hours on social media, or we're just paying too much attention to everything around us when none of it fucking matters. None of it matters. What matters is your internal state, okay? And you don't realize the power that you have to create what you want as soon as you tune back into yourself and you call your energy back from everything around you. Call it back. I was watching a video a few days ago. It was someone was saying, if you were to take the actual energy in our bodies, right, you could charge, I don't want to get this wrong, you could basically power up a really high-tech, developed city for a week, you could run your human power bank, the energy that you have within you, could run a fully developed, well-populated city. I'm butchering this, but you get my point. For a week. That's how much energy you have. The amount of energy you have actually in your body, in terms of like electrical supply, is worth around $85 billion in terms of like electricity or whatever. So you have it all, like it's all inside you. You're just letting it leak out to everything that doesn't matter. And the more you keep feeding into what you do not want, the more that what you do not want will persist. You're feeding it. You're literally taking your energy and you're going, here you go. Oh, that is so bad. Oh, I'm going to complain. I don't like this. I don't like that. Woe is me. You're feeding it to continue to exist for you in your life. Unsubscribe from this reality. Literally everything that you don't want in your new reality, unsubscribe from it now in this reality. That's how you get there fast. I think it was Neville Goddard said you should fall asleep to your wish fulfilled, right? And he really is an advocate for creating really strong visualizations, using your manifestation to live in the feeling of the frequency of what you desire, to live in your desire basically before it happens, because your brain doesn't know the difference between something that's real and what's imagined. But the problem is we're all so fried that we do know the difference, because the imagined version is shaky. And when you're going to bed at night and you're trying to visualize your new life, what's happening is, okay, you can visualize for a little while, you're on a beach, you've got your new Gucci bag, you're living the dream, you've got your new man on your side, whatever it is. But then you get a little bit tired and your attention starts to lack, because your attention span is crap, because you've spent all day giving it away to things that don't matter. So you, all of a sudden, you're thinking about something else, something that's familiar to you. Why? Because that is what's already in your subconscious. Your brain, your body will try to just default you to neural pathways that you're used to using all the time. That's why your attention and your focus needs to be super fucking strong for this to actually work. So especially as you're getting tired, especially as you're falling asleep, your brain is very malleable, okay? That is how you get into your subconscious, but you need to focus on it. And you can't focus on it if you don't train your attention, if you don't train your mind to do that. You have to repeat it. You have to try every day to visualize. You have to try every day to still your mind. Meditate. Literally treat it like you're exercising your mind, because within a week, you'll be able to do it better. Within 2 weeks, it will be something that's actually fun and enjoyable for you. Your brain changes. You actually get more physically, you get more gray matter in the front of your brain, which is like all the good parts basically of your brain, emotional regulation. Those parts of your brain grow when you meditate and you practice consistently doing this thing, focusing on bringing your attention back. When you can control your attention and you can control your emotions, you can control your reality, okay? And you need to break the habit of your brain defaulting to your old subconscious paradigm. That's the key to all of this. That's actually how you do it. And like, it's not some big ordeal. You just decide that you're committed to this. You decide that you're going to unsubscribe from everything going on now by unsubscribing with your emotions and your attention. You decide to subscribe to a new reality, a new self, a new character. You make the decision to be committed. You make the decision to keep your word. You make the decision to show up every day and do your meditations. You make the decision to show up every day and visualize, script, whatever tools you want to use, whatever's going to get you in the mood. You make the decision that no matter what's going on in your day, you get that shit done, because that is going to propel you into your new reality. And you can't keep waiting until tomorrow. You can't keep pushing it off, because the longer you do, the longer you'll stay where you are. So it's all just a decision. Maybe up until this point, you haven't been very committed. Maybe you've been very flaky. Maybe you haven't been disciplined. Maybe you've just been sacking off, doing the bare minimum. Maybe you've never meditated before. You've just been, I'm bad at meditation. I'm bad at visualizing. I'm bad at journaling. Do you know how many times I've heard that? You have decided that you're bad at that. So you can decide that you're good at it. You can decide that you're consistent at it. It's a decision. This self that exists right now, this character that you've been playing up until this point, is only ever, self is just a series of choices. You made a decision about what you like. You made a decision about what you don't like. You made decisions about what you do and what you don't do. You've made decisions about what you're capable of and what you're not. All it's ever been is decisions, your characteristics. You decided at one point or another, I'm shy, I'm introverted, or I'm extroverted. And your subconscious created a reality that matched that. And so you get to decide at this point, and I encourage you to decide right now before you end this video, decide who you want to be now. Who do you need to be for your dreams to come true? And decide to become that person. And this is why things like higher self, like meditations and visualizations, this is why they work so well. And some of them are very esoteric, and you imagine in your mind's eye your higher self walking towards you and they have a message for you. It's not actually that you're like physically seeing your higher self. It's that you're getting into your subconscious, right? And you're asking your subconscious, because your subconscious holds all the answers, by the way. Your subconscious is the dark room of your life, of your creations. You have $1 billion ideas in your subconscious. You have everything you need for fulfillment in your subconscious. Everything you could ever need, all the ideas will come out of your subconscious if you do what I'm telling you to do in this video. But basically, when you're doing like these higher self visualization meditations, what you're doing is you're just asking your subconscious, you're setting your subconscious kind of on this path, and you're saying, right, if I were to be the best version of myself, what would I look like? What would I say? And what would I tell this version of me now? And that's why those exercises are really good to do. So decide. Like, you're watching this video because you're probably not happy with where you are right now. So decide to go all in on who you want to be. All in. Forget everything else. And this is what will happen when you go down this path. And this is the other part I need you to keep in mind. I need you to keep this in mind, because this is the trap. I'm actually going to write something else here. Okay, I showed you the lines earlier, right? So this is kind of the level that you operate on. Within reality, your frequency gives you access to this within reality. So from here, these are maybe your good days, these are maybe your worst days, but you don't really break below here, and you don't really break above here. So this is why, like, you see people who win the lotto, right? They win the lottery, and even though all of a sudden they have this abundance, their frequency is not of abundance. And sooner or later, for a lot of people it's sooner, they shoot up here in terms of what the reality is, but the universe does not like things to come out of balance. You must be a match, energetically, vibrationally, to your frequency must match your reality. So if you're still vibrating at this frequency, even though you've won this money, somehow you're going to find a way to waste it. And you see this all the time with lottery winners. They get all this money and it's like the worst thing that ever happened to them because they just splurge it. It's because your frequency does not match your reality, and the universe will bring you right back down to that frequency. You cannot experience anything outside of your level of consciousness in reality, not for long. It'll come back into balance eventually. So you're within these parameters. So maybe these are your good days or your good months. We'll keep it in terms of money because that's easy to kind of quantify. So let's say 1 month, down at the very bottom here, 1 month you've made $1,000, and then up here, your best month so far has been $4,000, right? And you cannot break above 4. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, you seem to just not be able to break above 4. Because when you reach the ceilings or the limits, the bottom, what's the word for that? The floor or the ceiling? The floor or the ceiling, yeah, of your frequency, you'll hit a point of resistance energetically in the universe because it wants to keep you in balance, it wants to keep you in equilibrium. And when you push beyond a certain point of frequency, that's when the external shifts, okay? So you're going to hit resistance in the quantum, in the universe, because at this point, the universe is going to have to spend energy, right, to change things physically for you. When you hit this point, or this point, sorry, when you hit this point, or this point, things physically will shift, okay? And so for you to break past that point, you will hit resistance. And this is why people do not succeed. They're not aware of this. And when things are going wrong, when things are just not changing, when they're set distractions and all this other shit, it's because you're hitting the point of resistance. And you're being tested, because when you break through here, I want you to think of this like a pot of water, okay? And you're currently, this is room temperature. Oh my God, guys, this is a pot. Are you joking? I've got a C in art, as you can tell. That is the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm so tired. Okay, so you're a pot of water. Stop, no. Okay, you're not here for the art, we know that. And you're on the boil. No, that looks like a little man. I can't go. You're a pot of water, you're on the stove, you're on the boil, right? Okay. Katie, where the fuck are you going with this? Right, I need you to realize this. At this point, you're with me here so far. At this point, instead of you shifting and breaking through to a new reality where you have a new opportunity, the universe has to spend energy shifting things for you. What they're going to try to do instead is just send you more tests and more extenuating circumstances to keep you glued in this reality, right? They're going to try to keep you here. The universe does not want you to go above or down. I'm sorry, I know that goes against a lot of like the positive talk and positive culture. The universe doesn't want you, your paradigm doesn't want you to, yourself doesn't want you to, because the self will die. When you shift into this new self completely, the old self will die. And so the old self is clinging on because it wants to survive. And so circumstances and events will happen when you're reaching this point that will try to bring you back down and keep you in this frequency. And that's how you know you're about to break through. And this is the mistake that people make. They think, oh no, everything's gone to shit. I've been doing the work. What's going on? Everything's falling apart. That is the test. We've talked about how you have a lot of energy, okay? You have all this creator energy inside you. When you hit this point, the universe needs your energy, basically, for your reality to shift. And so it's poking you with these events, with things falling apart, with things not changing. It's trying to trigger you into despair. It's trying to trigger you into frustration. It's trying to trigger you into being fed up. It's trying to trigger you by distracting you with something else. And when you say to the universe, I don't buy into any of this, and I'm staying committed on my path, and I know my shit's coming, and you give your energy again, and you give that surge of energy to the new reality, so your desire, even though it's trying to pull you down, when you push back with your energy and you say, no, we're going up, I don't care, we're going up. That energy that you give to the new reality, the universe kind of catches that and is like, okay, you passed the test, come on through, right? That's how you need to think about this. Because it's like you're a room temperature, right? You're here in this frequency. In this frequency, you are water and you're room temperature, yeah? And this is your boiling point. So you want to get up to boiling. And this is room temperature. You're living your room temperature life. You're having your room temperature experiences. You're being your room temperature self. And you want to get up to boiling. But in order for water that's at room temperature to hit boiling, it needs a massive amount of energy in the form of heat. Now, obviously, it's different for us. It's not heat, but you get my point. You need to keep generating energy. You hit the boiling point, and then you give another surge of energy or heat at this point, and that is when you start to boil. When something is falling apart, it's literally about to come in. This is the last test. The universe is shit testing you. They're testing your vibration because you've maybe been dedicated to this new vibration. You've been saying yada, 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 X, Y, and Z, but they're trying to look and see, okay, if they are faced with this circumstance, are they going to give that energetic push in the direction of the new vibration? We need to see that from them, and then the gates will open. That's how it works. The last one is distractions. Now this is sneaky. So I've had this recently. I've had this actually my whole life, where I've wanted to do mindset work like this, and I have allowed myself, every time I've kind of thought about it or gone down the path, something will come up, some shiny object will come up that will tempt me in another direction. So it'll be another opportunity that seems safer, that seems more comfortable. It's more in my comfort zone. And a lot of times I've allowed myself to get sidetracked by that because you don't know that that's what it is. You don't know it's just a distraction, it's just a test. Okay? And I've really had it recently. So these opportunities in the past, they've been good, they've been comfortable, they've been fine. But really when I committed to starting this work and starting this channel, I already have another business, but I also was presented with another opportunity, like right when I started posting more consistently and decided that this is what I was going to do, I was presented with another opportunity that I could see somebody making a lot of money from. Like, it was something that was very, very, very tempting. And I started thinking about it and I started going down the path, but then I remembered this. That's splitting my energy. The energy that I need to create what I want in this world is now being split towards this other thing because the money looked nice, I'm not gonna lie. Really, it was financially driven. And so that was me being shit tested by the universe. There's no other way to put it. They were like, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Is money more important to you than your vision? So these things will come up and you have to be fucking aware. Your vision comes over all. Even when your circumstances are making you doubt it, even when everything is falling apart, even when something that looks like to be a better option or a safer option or a more financially secure option, whatever it is, decide what matters to you the most and stick to that. Go all in on your vision, because all this energy that you have will bring that into fruition. All you have to do is focus it all on that one thing. You don't need to be a master in 5 million things. The best people in the world who are the best at what they do, they're only good at that one thing, really. You have some people that may be good at like 2 things, but really, if you want to be a master in whatever it is your vision is, that's what you have to focus on and nothing else. Like, anyone who's really mastered anything, you need, I think Robert Greene said you need like 10,000 hours to achieve mastery in anything. Why are you spending 5,000 of those hours learning something else? It doesn't make sense. So long as, this goes with a caveat, all of this comes with a caveat, by the way. And this is another thing. I'm not saying you should be so in imagination land and so detached from this reality that you neglect your basic human needs, okay? You need to meet your physiological needs, your needs for survival, because, okay, you need to make sure you have shelter, you need to make sure you have food, you need to make sure your needs are looked after in this reality that you're living in. But beyond that, forget everything else, okay? And go all in on your vision. That's it. Because if you're in survival mode and you're trying to do all of this, it's going to be a struggle. And if you think about, what's his name, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, down at the bottom you have obviously survival, shelter, food, water, air, and then at the top you have self-actualization. So if you're trying to self-actualize and you don't know where your next meal is coming from, you don't know how you're going to pay your rent, that's going to be really hard. That's going to be really, really hard. So, and you're going to be swayed by your emotions. You're going to be swayed by your fear. It's very difficult to visualize when you have a lack of safety and a lack of security in your reality. And this is something people don't mention either. You also could be storing. So I had a lot of fear and a lot of, a feeling of a lack of safety. I had that in my body. I had moved a lot and I was doing a lot of things and I was stressed about a lot of things. A lot has gone on in my life in recent years. My home situation has just been chaotic, and I finally landed in this place where I am now, and I hadn't realized that I hadn't released all this fear. When you do that, you're going to be able to visualize a lot more. Why? Because you don't see the world as a scary place. You see the world as somewhere where you're safe to create something new. So keep that in mind. That was a tangent. This is why it's difficult to shift. This is why we can't just snap our fingers and shift. We have the universe trying to keep us in equilibrium, not going beyond a certain point up or down, and our self is trying to latch on. So we're basically kind of addicted to being our old self. We're addicted to our old frequency. So this is why your intention is always detachment from your old frequency, your old thoughts, your old emotions. And I want to bring one last thing in here. I think this is my last point. This is so important. Don't fall into this trap. You probably want to change your life really badly. Okay, you want things to change for you. But we can all fall into a trap where that leads us to feel very unhappy with where we are right now. okay? And what happens is that actual vibration that you're sending out, it's I'll be happy when. My happiness is in the future. And all you manifest through that is a situation where you feel like your happiness is in the future. So even if you get what you desire, when you get there, you will still be in the energetic vibration of, I will be happy in the future. That's how it goes. So you see this in people who achieve a lot of success. They think they're going to be happy when they get there, and they're still miserable. No matter what changes in their reality, they're still miserable because they don't take responsibility for their own happiness. Happiness is a choice. It's not a future event. It's a now feeling. You can only feel it now. The moment everything changes really is when you just look at your life and you say, regardless of what happens today, I choose to be happy. When you get to a point where you feel like you have everything and you're blessed with everything that you already have and you're excited for the future, but you're not overly attached to it, that's when everything comes rushing towards you. You don't overly want it, you just know it's coming, but you're happy right now because wanting nothing gives you everything. That's what they say, and that is the truth. The minute that you're sitting on your beach towel, eating a pineapple, thinking to yourself, God, life is good, something good happens, something changes. That's all for this video, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I've also launched my free school community. You can find that in the description. I hope this video helped, and I will see you in the next one.